What's up, guys? So, I am inside the brew shed. Just wanted to kind of give you an update on what I've had going on with it so far. Kind of sat for a while, had to wait for the township that I live in to approve the shed because I put it in without actually filing for a permit. Got in a little trouble for that. I had already ran the electrical and everything, so I had to get that inspected. So it kind of sat on the back burner for a few months. I was really hoping to have this thing completely done by like the fall, but it just didn't work out that way. But here we are, progress. As you can see, there's a lot of blue on the walls behind me. What that is a closed cell expanding foam that insulates the walls. So I wanted to show you guys real quick. It's kind of echoey in here now since they did this. This stuff right here, what it is, it's a foam. It's about 2 inches deep. It is basically a next level type insulation option. And the reason why I did this, you'll see it did it all across the roof line and everything. I mean, it is super insulated and it's supposed to be fairly airtight even and moisture resistant. And there's the air conditioning / heating unit. Went with a through the wall unit. Just put a wall sleeve in. I had to put additional framing in here, and I also put additional stud here running up, and I toe nailed it, and I also nailed it to the exterior wall. And I also put a board under here for the sleeve for the through the wall unit to go to. So basically, when I drywall, I will drywall here. So I got this little frame thing. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do here, but I will pop this out and drywall and then put this back in. But they did foam all around this too pretty good. It's pretty airtight, like I said, and it stays warm in here now, to be quite honest. But yeah, man, check it out. Just crazy looking, isn't it? And next step will be drywall. But yeah, there's definitely kind of an echo in here, like I don't know, that bounce off the walls sound. But yeah, it looks great. My main electrical panel there, with the main to disconnect and the, So I got my main line here, or no, this is my 30 amp 240, my 30 amp 240, a couple of 20 amp 120s, and then my main service disconnect right there. And I got my 240 there. Oh, wait a minute, sorry. I got my 240 there, and then I have another 240 over there the AC's plugged into. The 240 is actually more energy efficient when you are running a unit. This unit will actually cool up to, I think, 1,000 square feet, and I'm only cooling 120. So, more than enough for this room. This unit is more than enough to cool down this entire space, the 120 square foot of space. Well, if you want to talk cubic, then it's quite a bit more, but yeah, it's coming along just like I wanted. The reason why let's go back onto why I used the foam. I was concerned about using batting, breathing stuff, like just having the fiberglass batting in. It was going to work out for most of the walls, but then there were some spots where it was going to have to be cut and put in and all. It's itchy stuff, and I don't know. I was also concerned about how I was going to do the roof, because usually when you insulate the roof, it's usually like an R30 rating or something. But not only that, there can be moisture issues, especially down here where I live in Houston. In the summertime, if you're air conditioning the inside, there's going to be moisture on the outside buildup, but sweating effect to go, and you can get mold and other kind of issues like that. Well, with the closed cell foam such as this, it's moisture resistant. It's almost like a vapor barrier and everything all in one. And yeah, I'm excited because I'm able to adequately insulate this top and the sides all the way around here. Also, there's about an R7.5 rating on this foam, so per inch. So I've got about 14 to 15 R rating going on the insulation. So it's going to be very nice and comfortable in here in the summertime. Wintertime, it actually holds heat pretty well as well. So let's talk about my unit. So I bought this unit on Amazon. I think I paid like 400 bucks for it or something. The sleeve was like another 90 bucks, but it's a sleeve that's made for it. I wasn't too impressed with this actual sleeve kit. They gave you foam blocks to put the unit on because the unit needs to be slightly angled for drippage. My unit's probably not angled enough, but it's slightly angled so to help with any moisture drip out the back, and I'll show you all that here in a minute. But if we turn it on here, I hit power, and I'll turn the fans down away from the camera here. But it's not terribly loud. I mean, that's on a low speed, and it's on heat right now. There is an auto setting where I can go to auto and I can dial the temperature. Let's say I want to keep my fermentation room ambient temperature around 72, 70. It will switch between heat and cool to keep the room at that setting. The fan mode automatically goes it goes into an auto mode instead of, so it adjusts the fan speeds and everything depending on what the room needs. It's not terribly loud, I don't think. It might seem loud on the video, I don't know, but it's fantastic though. But in the winter, I mean, I would have it on auto most of the time because I won't be here every time, and I'll have this on because what I'm planning on is I'm gonna have my kegerator over there. That's my kids' bouncy stuff, ignore that. I'm gonna put my kegerator about over here, I believe, or maybe center wall, I'm not sure yet. But I'm gonna put the kegerator there, and this room needs to stay cool enough so my kegerator's not working hard. So I'd probably, when I'm not brewing beer or fermenting, I'd probably have the temperature dialed up to about like 78 and keep this room, or maybe even 80, just to keep this room cool enough that the keezer's not working hard. But when I'm fermenting beers, you know, of course I'll dial it down to probably, I'd say 74-ish or so, just to keep the room cool enough for my fermenters. I am going with a glycol fermentation system as soon as it gets here, which seems to be delayed. It's delayed right now. Craft the Brew ran into some issues, I guess, like shipping wise, because it's a glycol system and the refrigerant used in the actual unit, they had some, I guess, issues shipping items with that refrigerant in it. But this thing, I'm very happy with just the climate control for this room as far as the cooling and heating goes. With this insulation in here, it's made a world of difference. I also plan on, not to talk y'all's ears to death, but I also plan on putting a door seal. There'll be a door seal that goes here and goes all the way down behind the doors, and then also I'm going to incorporate a door seal here and then also on the bottom frame, and I'll put something here, but I can't put something too thick because this has to close. But yeah, they foam the doors as well, so the doors will stay nice and insulated, as you can see. But yeah, he did a pretty awesome job. I had a company called Eskimo Insulation do the job. Let's go around the back. I'll show you all the outside unit, or the outside of the unit. So here's the unit, and all I did was I cut a big square, a big rectangle out of the back of the building I put this sleeve in, and then I caulked really thick, a really thick bead of caulk around this. And I had to keep water out and everything. But yeah, all the heat and everything, just when it's cooling, right now it's cold air because it's heating, so it's pulling all the cold air out and blowing in the warm air. And then when it's cooling, opposite, it'll blow hot air out. Because AC basically just pulls the hot air out of the room. That's how air conditioners work. But yeah, shed's been holding up pretty good. Put a nice little lattice around the bottom of it. Stained it to match my deck. But yeah, that's, and to keep kids out from under it, you know, when we have company and my daughter out here playing. But so far so good, man. Been pretty happy. Now we'll talk about one other thing. Let's go back inside. It's already toasty in here. This thing does a really good job. I'm just gonna kill it for right now. So I don't have any plumbing in the shed. People are like, well, how are you gonna brew in a shed if you don't have plumbing? I didn't want to put any like kind of permanent plumbing in here. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to probably, and I'm still thinking this all through, is drill a line through and run like a plumbing connector of some sorts, and then I can just run a potable water line, hose line to my spigot and just have it come in when I'm brewing, and when I'm brewing I'll just cap it off, you know. And drainage wise, I may put a drain in through the wall with like a little just a little drain that I can cap off when I'm not using it, and that will be for my not so permanent sink that might be here. And everything I'm using is it's organic anyways. It's all, nothing I'm dumping out into the outside is anything that is not biodegradable, like hops and grain, rinsed out spent grain, whatever. That's all organic, and I can just have a drain outside and it can water my trees and stuff. And so, and fertilize even, possibly. So I don't see any negatives to just running like a non-sewer drain line out just for rinsing and washing and stuff, and a little water connector in that I can hook a hose on the outside to, that's for potable water. So those are my plans. Deer shed is coming around, and I'm very, like I said, man, this stuff, it feels like an igloo cooler. If I can describe it, it feels like it's just like solid, like an igloo cooler. But man, it's gonna keep this room nice and cozy, especially after I get through doing the door seals. Oh, and the other thing about the doors, they're not gonna look like this. I do plan on putting like maybe some corrugated metal or something over them, something decorative, so that it looks nice. And I am thinking about doing a vinyl plank floor in here. So just something that I can like piece together and fit in here, and something simple, floating floor basically. And yeah, it'll look nice. So that's the brew shed update. Just wanted to let you guys know where I'm going with it. I looked at DIY kits for this foam job. I really wanted to do this spray foam stuff, and I think it was like $700 for the kit. Yeah, it was like $700 for the kit, and it looked like it was pretty straightforward, but that's just one coat of 1 inch, and it covers about 600 footboards. I have more than 600 footboards in this whole shed. So it was actually cheaper for me to just have a company come in here and do it. And I think it was like $1,200. I'm just throwing it out there. It was like $1,200 with closed cell foam. And yeah, it was, when I started doing the math and the time and that it would take me to do it, these guys were in and out in like 2 hours, and I would have had to order all these kits and bring them in, and I just really didn't want to do batting insulation. I wanted something a little more modern, a little more insulating, if you will, especially these corners. Look, like these what they call these California corners. I don't know why. I am not a construction guy by any means, but they even shot foam down inside these California corners that would have been little energy voids. But yeah, they just foamed it all in there too. So yeah, I mean, it's very well insulated. It feels nice and cozy in here right now. It's about 60 degrees outside. And yeah, so I'm excited to get the drywall on this sucker and start making it mine, you know, putting shelves up, getting it ready, making it my new YouTube brew shed studio, if you will. And since I get taxed on YouTube revenue by the IRS, because it's I get taxed because Google doesn't take any taxes out. I'm writing off a lot of this too on my taxes. And anybody else that runs a YouTube channel that does big additions and stuff for YouTube and for your hobby that is part of YouTube, you should consider it as well. So happy tax season, folks. We'll see you here real soon. Cheers.